Don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you never miss one of our wild stories. I didn't expect it to feel like that. Like lightning. Like my heart forgot how to beat. It was supposed to be a ride home. Just a simple favor. But by the time we hit the freeway, something had shifted in the air. Thick, quiet, electric. It was Liam. My best friend's older brother. The guy I grew up thinking was just a little too serious, a little too guarded. But tonight he looked different. Felt different. And when he glanced at me under the soft dashboard light, eyes darker than the road ahead, I swear time slowed down. "You good?" he asked, one hand on the wheel, the other resting too close to my knee. I nodded, but I wasn't. Not even close. Because something was happening between us. And neither of us said it out loud. But we both felt it. The morning after felt like walking through fog. Everything looked the same. The sun rising over the city skyline, the same emails flooding my inbox, the same coffee brewing in the office kitchen. But inside nothing felt the same. My mind was trapped replaying last night. Quiet jazz. The weight of James' gaze. The almost kiss. I sat at my desk, fingers resting on the keyboard, but my eyes kept drifting to his office. The glass walls gave him no privacy. He was there, sitting reading something on his laptop. Unbothered. But then he looked up. Eyes met. And held. Only for a moment, but it felt like everything stopped. Then he gave the smallest smile. That secret kind meant only for me, and returned to his screen. I looked away, heart pounding. Was that real? Or had I imagined the whole night? Before I could spiral, my best friend in the office, Layla, leaned over from the cubicle beside me. "You okay?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. "You've been staring into space like you just saw a ghost." I blinked. "I'm fine. Just tired." "Aha," she said, unconvinced. "Wasn't that gala something? You stayed late, right?" My stomach twisted. "Yeah, a bit." He smirked. "Anyone stay late with you?" Froze. Layla didn't know about James. No one did. No one could. Just caught up with a few people. That's all. Before she could dig further, I grabbed my coffee and stood. "I need some air." I slipped out to the terrace again. The same one from the night before. The same view. Same breeze. But now the space felt different. Held a memory. Feeling. Suddenly, the door creaked open behind me. I didn't need to turn around to know who it was. "Thought I might find you here," James said. Turned slowly. He wore a navy suit today. Neat. Shirt crisp. But something in his eyes was softer. Less guarded. "You okay?" he asked gently. "I don't know," I admitted. "Are you?" He smiled slightly. "I haven't stopped thinking about last night." I swallowed hard. "Neither have I." There was a silence. Not awkward but full. Loaded. He stepped closer, keeping a respectful distance. "Jane, I don't want to make things complicated. But I also can't pretend nothing happened. Or that it didn't matter." I looked at him. Really looked. This wasn't just James Carter, the CEO. This was James, the man who had shared a quiet lounge with me. Who had touched my hand like it meant something. "I don't know what to do with this," I whispered. "You don't have to decide anything today," he said. "But I'd like to talk again. Not here. Not like this." He hesitated. "Talk where?" He handed me a small card. No writing, just an address. "Tonight. No pressure. If you don't show, I'll understand." And with that he turned and walked back inside. I stared at the card in my hand. The clean white surface felt heavier than it looked. That evening, I stood in front of a tall brownstone, heart racing. The address had led me to a quiet, tree-lined street, not far from downtown, but far enough to feel hidden from the world. I was either making a huge mistake, or stepping into something I couldn't walk away from. I rang the doorbell. James opened it himself. No suit, no tie. Just a simple black shirt and dark jeans. He looked younger like this. Softer. "Come in," he said, stepping aside. The inside of the house was warm, inviting. Art on the walls, shelves full of books, a soft fire crackling in the living room. This wasn't the man I knew from the office. This was his world. He handed me a glass of wine and motioned for me to sit. We didn't talk much at first, just sat sipping, letting the silence settle. Then he said, "You know, I've built everything in my life by following the rules, by being safe, predictable." I looked at him. "But last night," he paused, "that wasn't safe. And yet, it felt more real than anything I've done in years." I bit my lip. "I'm scared, James. This could cost us everything." He nodded slowly. "I know. But I also know," he continued, "that some things are worth risking everything for." He reached out again, not grabbing, not forcing, just offering. And this time, I took his hand. To be continued. I woke up the next morning in a stranger's bed. Except it wasn't a stranger. It was James. The sheets were soft. The sunlight filtered through cream-colored curtains. His scent lingered on the pillow beside me. Clean, warm, unmistakably him. He was already up. I could hear faint sounds from the kitchen. The clink of dishes. Running water. The soft hum of jazz playing from hidden speakers. I sat up slowly. The events of last night washing over me in vivid flashes. The wine. Couch. A kiss. A bedroom. Unraveled. There was no regret. Just fear. And wonder. And heat still thrumming beneath my skin. I wrapped myself in one of his button-down shirts and walked toward the kitchen. He looked up as I entered, eyes meeting mine with that same quiet intensity that had undone me. "Hey," he said, voice low, lips curving into a soft smile. "Morning," I replied, almost shy. He handed me a mug of coffee. "Did you sleep okay?" I nodded, sipping. "Yeah. You?" He leaned against the counter, eyes never leaving me. Haven't felt peace like that in a long time. I didn't know what to say to that. So I just stood there, letting the silence stretch between us again. "Jane," he said suddenly, "I know this changes everything. And I also know we can't let the office find out. Not yet. A knot formed in my stomach. Right. We need boundaries. Rules." He sighed, brushing his fingers through his hair. "So let's set them. Before this gets messy." He nodded. "Okay. Rule 1. No flirting at work." He smirked. "That's going to be hard, but agreed." "Rule 2, I continued. "This, whatever this is, stays outside the office." His smile faltered slightly. "Got it. No late-night lounge moments." "Rule 3. No more overnight stays." He raised an eyebrow. "Already breaking that one." I tried not to smile. "Then starting now." He stepped closer, closing the gap between us. "Jane, I can play by the rules. But I need to know. Is this real for you? Or just a moment?" I met his gaze. "I don't do just moments, James." He leaned in. Softly. Barely touching. "Neither do I." Back at the office, everything felt delicate. We kept our distance. Spoke only when necessary. No lingering glances. No late-night text. Just quiet restraint wrapped in business formal. But it was hard. Every time I saw him in a meeting, heard his voice down the hallway, felt his presence near mine, it was like trying not to breathe. And then came the complication. Her name was Claudia Monroe, an investor, socialite, and James' ex-girlfriend. She showed up in stilettos and red lipstick, all charm and polished power, stepping into the office like she still owned a piece of it. "I heard you're launching the new initiative," she said, placing a hand on James' arm like it belonged there. "Thought I'd stop by and offer support." I watched from a distance as they laughed. Connected like they had a history I could never compete with. Layla leaned in beside me. "You seeing this?" I forced a smile. "Not my business." But my chest burned. Later that day, James caught me alone in the elevator. "About Claudia." "You don't owe me an explanation," I said, keeping my eyes on the numbers. "I think I do," he replied. "We ended years ago. She's here for business." I turned to him. "And if she wants more?" He looked at me like I was the only person in the world. She's not the one I want. The elevator doors opened. I stepped out without another word. That night, I found a note slipped into my coat pocket. The rules were meant to protect us. But maybe the real danger is pretending they're enough. Meet me tomorrow. Same place. Midnight. My heart pounded. The game had changed. And I didn't know if we were playing with fire or falling into something we couldn't escape. Midnight came like a whisper. The city had gone quiet. Streetlights flickering like secrets and shadows stretching long across the pavement. I stood in front of the rooftop lounge, heart hammering beneath my coat, James's note burning in my pocket. I shouldn't have come, but I had to. I stepped inside, scanning the dimly lit space. Soft jazz played. The skyline blinked like stars. And there he was, leaning against the railing, his silhouette etched in silver moonlight. He turned before I could say a word. You came. I wasn't sure I would, I said, stepping closer. But I couldn't not. He reached for my hand. Let him. I've been thinking, he murmured. About us. About what we started. I stared at our hands. James, the rules. Screw the rules, he said quietly. Let's talk about the truth. I looked up. The truth is, he said, voice rough now, I've felt more alive in the past few weeks than I have in years. And it's not the job. It's not the power plays or the projects. It's you. I felt my resolve slipping, breath catching. I'm scared, I admitted. Not just of getting caught. I'm scared of this. Of feeling something that could unravel me. He stepped closer, lifting my chin. Let it. I'll catch you. Our lips met, softer this time. Slower. Not the desperate burn of before, something deeper. Like we were writing a promise into the night air. Then the door creaked behind us. We broke apart like guilty teenagers. A figure stepped out. Sharp. Ice in her voice. Well, I see the rumors are true. Claudia. She crossed her arms, the wind tossing her perfect hair. So this is what's been distracting you, James? He straightened. Claudia, this isn't. Save it, she snapped. Her eyes flicked to me. Cold. Calculating. You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into, sweetheart. I held my ground. If there's a problem, take it up with HR. She laughed, crisp and cruel. HR won't save you when the board finds out. James stepped between us. Enough. Claudia's gaze lingered on him. You were mine once, James. Don't forget how fast everything can change. She turned and disappeared into the stairwell, heels echoing like warning shots. The silence left behind was sharp. I exhaled shakily. We're not just risking our jobs anymore, are we? James's jaw tightened. No, we're risking everything. We stood there for a long time, watching the city breathe below us. Whatever this was, it had just become war. And I wasn't sure who we'd be when the dust settled. The next morning came like a hangover. I sat at my desk pretending to read emails, heart still tangled in the rooftop confrontation. Claudia had always been powerful, sharp, elegant, and utterly ruthless. But last night, that was something else. Felt personal. Message pinged. From James W. Subject: lunch meeting. 12:30 p.m. Boardroom 7C. Come alone. No signature. Just instructions. I minimized the window, pulse accelerating. At 12:27, I entered the boardroom. It was dimly lit, blinds half drawn. James sat at the far end of the long table, expression unreadable. You sure this is smart? I asked, closing the door behind me. Nothing about this is smart, he said. But it's necessary. He slid a manila folder across the table. Claudia's been digging. She's trying to use the relationship as leverage. Opened it. Photos. Me and James. The rooftop. A kiss. I swallowed hard. How did she get these? She has someone on the security team. He tapped the edge of the folder. But that's not all. He handed me a USB drive. What is it? Proof she's been embezzling. For years. She's been using her position to siphon money through fake consultancy contracts, offshore accounts, shell companies. My eyes widened. And you've known? Only recently. I was going to confront her. But now she's trying to frame you. Me? He nodded grimly. The photos. She's going to claim you seduced me to access company secrets. That you're part of a corporate espionage scheme. My stomach dropped. This is insane, I whispered. No, James said. It's war. Silence. Then I looked up at him. So what's the plan? A slow, dangerous smile curved on his lips. We give her enough rope. Then watch her hang herself. He stood. But it has to be clean. No emotion. No more secret kisses. No more rooftop rendezvous. And blinked. Until this is over, he said, stepping close, brushing a hand against mine like a secret. We go cold. Ice cold. My throat tightened. Can we even pull that off? He didn't answer. Just walked away, leaving the scent of cologne and chaos behind. And as the door clicked shut, I realized. In this game of shadows, love was the biggest liability of all. I kept my head down for the next few days. No stolen glances. No secret text. Just silence between James and me, like a Cold War wrapped in business casual. But Claudia, she moved like a queen with checkmate in her purse. She started showing up unannounced to my meetings, smiling too hard, complimenting my work in front of executives. It was the kind of praise that came with daggers underneath. Then the whispers began. She's sleeping her way up. I heard she's real close with the VP. Must be nice having that kind of leverage. I didn't need a mirror to see the looks I was getting. The boardroom had turned into a jungle, and I was the wounded animal. But I wasn't about to lie down. One night, I met James in the underground parking lot, neutral territory. She's accelerating, I said, voice low. James leaned against his car, expression taut. She's prepping for a full takedown. My guess. She'll present the photos to the board next week. We need to flip the narrative before she does. He nodded. You still have that USB. Yeah. But we can't just show up with files and hope they believe us over her. She's got half the company under her spell. He smirked. Then we don't fight her in public. We bleed her from the shadows. That's when we started the Whisper Network. Anonymous emails. Carefully leaked data. Little hints dropped into the right inboxes. Whispers of fraud not from us, but from ghosts inside the company. Slowly, doubt began to bloom. A VP sent her assistant to review the consultancy contracts. Finance flagged 2 unusual wire transfers. I found an encrypted folder on Claudia's drive, and copied it. She didn't know where the pressure was coming from, but it was working. The queen was starting to sweat. And then came the curveball. Claudia showed up at my apartment. Unannounced. Uninvited. She stood in the doorway, black coat hugging her like armor, eyes ice sharp. May I come in? I hesitated. She smiled. Don't worry, darling. I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to make you an offer. She stepped inside like she owned the place. No hesitation. No fear. Just that signature Claudia confidence. Part silk, part poison. She walked past me and glanced around my apartment, the corners of her lips curling with amusement. Cozy, she said. Very you. I stayed by the door, arms crossed. Say what you came to say. She turned, sharp eyes locking onto mine. I know what you and James are doing. The emails, the leaks, the whispers. Clever. Desperate, but clever. I didn't flinch. You're unraveling, Claudia. She tilted her head. Am I? Or am I just accelerating the endgame? There was a beat of silence. Heavy. Then she walked closer, heels clicking against the hardwood like a countdown. I'm offering you an out, she said. You give me the USB. You walk away from all this. In return, I make sure your name stays clean when the dust settles. And James. He smirked. James is already finished. He just doesn't know it yet. I narrowed my eyes. What's your real play? She leaned in, close enough to smell her expensive perfume. I'm not just taking over the company. I'm reshaping it. And there's room for someone like you. Sharp, strategic, underestimated. But only if you know when to let go of dead weight. It wasn't just an offer. It was a test, temptation, a chance to climb the ladder without James. But betrayal, that wasn't in my blood. I held her gaze. You should leave. Claudia's expression hardened. For the first time, I saw a flicker of anger behind her calm. Careful, she whispered. Martyrs make great stories, but terrible survivors. And with that, she turned on her heel and walked out. The door clicked shut behind her, but the echo of her words lingered like smoke. This wasn't just a game anymore. It was war. And next week, the board meeting would decide everything. Got it. I'll keep it tight, told from one consistent point of view, simple and clean storytelling style. We'll stay focused and wrap everything up by chapter 8. Since we're already at chapter 6, let's keep building toward the climax. James was waiting outside the cafe like always. Hood up, hands in his coat pockets, pretending to be just another face in the crowd. I walked up and gave him the nod. No words. We didn't need them. Not right now. We sat in the back corner, away from the windows. I handed him the USB, the same one Claudia wanted so badly. He plugged it into his laptop. His eyes scanned the screen, fast at first, then slower. Focused. What is it? Yes. He looked up. Everything. Offshore accounts. Right. Shell companies in places no one's ever heard of. And the board. He leaned back, jaw tight. If they see this, Claudia's done. She won't just lose her seat. She'll lose everything. The weight of it hit me then. We weren't playing in the shadows anymore. This was the spotlight. Tomorrow's the vote, I said. He nodded. You ready? I thought about Claudia's offer. Her voice still echoed in my head. There's room for someone like you. I looked James in the eyes. Steady. Certain. Yeah. I'm ready. No turning back now. The boardroom was colder than usual, but maybe that was just me. 15 seats, 12 filled. Claudia walked in last. Confident, flawless as always. But I saw it now. Cracks. James sat beside me. He didn't look at her. He didn't need to. The chairman cleared his throat. Before we begin, we've received new evidence. Mr. Knox. James stood. Measured. He slid a folder to each board member. Then clicked a remote. The projector lit up. Names, numbers, paper trails, signatures. Claudia's empire unraveled in silence. When it ended, she didn't move. Just sat there perfectly still. I want to respond, she said quietly. The chairman shook his head. No need. We've heard enough. The vote was quick. 11-1. Claudia stood and looked straight at me. You think this makes you better than me? No, I said. Just free. She didn't flinch, didn't cry. She just walked out like a ghost leaving her own grave. Outside the sun was rising. First light catching the skyline in gold. James clapped me on the back. So what now? Smiled. Now we start something clean. He laughed. From nothing. From truth. We walked into the morning, not heroes, not saints. Just two men who chose to step out of the shadows. And that was enough.